Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Trey, and I want to talk about Zack Snyder because Zack Snyder is doing his Synder Con, which is sold out. Again, it's incredible. Like, I don't understand. Everybody keep talking about how terrible this man movies are, or whatever, and how much of a terrible person he is, and how much his movies are horrible. But yet, for some reason, anytime this man make an event, anytime this man got anything coming, people drop money. I don't know, y'all. Y'all ain't convincing me nothing that this man work is terrible. But anyway, Snyder had revealed that he had a plan that teased that maybe the Greek gods and Wonder Woman's background could be partially Kryptonian because of the fact that, if you guys don't remember, there was a Man of Steel prequel comic book explaining where Supergirl was, and I guess the bizarre nature of that was going to be she lands on Earth in prehistoric times or whatever, and what was going to happen is, I guess, her and some other characters, they kind of get together, which kind of create the myths of the Greek gods, and that kind of leads down to the creation of Wonder Woman because Zeus is her father in the DC universe. So apparently people freak the hell out, and I just kind of find it hypocritical because they're like, oh my god, you're ruining the Kryptonians, and Amazon's like, why would you do something like that or whatever? And it's just kind of thinking to myself, I'm like, what are you guys like talking about? This isn't something new. All directors and creative people have taken the myths of characters from DC and Marvel and literally changed up their entire character development before. For God's sakes, look at the Arrowverse. The Arrowverse completely changed a lot of characters' history and lore to fit what they wanted to too. And it's kind of crazy because you guys are attacking him for doing something like that, or even having an idea of maybe teasing the myths before. But it's just like, again, the MCU's been doing it for years, and then when we say stuff about it, a lot of y'all tell us to shut up. But the moment Snyder decides he want to try to add something new to the lore of the DC characters and maybe tease on the fact that ancient Kryptonians might have been the division of Greek gods and stuff like that, it's a problem. No, that doesn't make any logical sense. You know what I mean? Characters from the MCU and in the Arrowverse have been changed around, and people still sat there, watched the shows or whatever. Just watch the shows, watch the movies and everything. I mean, for God's sakes, look at the Guardians of the Galaxy right now. Guardians of the Galaxy, most of the characters have been completely bastardized. Peacemaker, completely bastardized. And then they're like, yeah, but it's the fundamental of Wonder Woman's thing. Well, Wonder Woman derived from Greek gods anyway. I mean, from the ancient Greeks anyway. So technically, we don't know what that the Greek pantheons are really in the DC universe, because DC has always teased that the Greek gods from the DC universe were ancient aliens who settled on Earth, kind of like how back in the past with the Eternals, sometimes some of the myths that came from Greek gods derived from the Eternals and not the actual Greek pantheons. But DC has teased the fact that ancient Kryptonians, before they were Kryptonians, came to Earth and kind of settled down and became those gods. Like, this isn't something brand new. There have been plenty of comic books before that have teased the fact that other aliens in the DC universe migrated to Earth and became the Greek gods, the pantheons of different cultures or religions. So it's not out of the possibility that some form of ancient Kryptonians could have came to Earth without realizing it was Earth, and because they were ancient, they had different special abilities and powers or whatever, and they became what we known as the Greek gods, and then bam, that's how Wonder Woman became Wonder Woman. You know what I'm saying? It's not out of the realm of possibilities. And I know, I think there was a comic book. I can't remember if there what specific comic book it was, but I think there was a comic book back in the 90s that was trying to tease the fact that the Amazons were, Wonder Woman herself anyway, derived from ancient Kryptonians anyway. So it is what it is, but I just kind of find it very hypocritical that everybody want to be like, man, he's stupid for doing something like that or whatever. And it's just like, okay, but other directors and creatives do it too, but y'all don't say nothing to them. You know what I'm saying? And then it's always an excuse. No, you can't get mad because one director had an idea that never went through and he's just speaking on it. But then when another director or creatives do it, y'all are like gun-ho for it. You know what I'm saying? And it's just so contradiction. So basically, he was just talking about how the idea was scrapped. He says the whole thing with Ares and Zeus, we considered how Zeus could possibly be a Kryptonian, so that Wonder Woman's powers, you can sort of see where it was going, because the whole thing of whether or not magic or gods, there's a version where you're like, that's cool, I guess, but then there's also more scientific aspects. Where do gods come from? What is it about? We had to play around with that quite a bit. So it's just him talking about we had played around with the idea. Y'all act like it actually happened, but again, even if it did happen, it is kind of interesting to try to come up with your own answer for certain myths in our world that is also part of the DC universe. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like he really did it, because the way y'all act like, oh my God, he just revealed that that's what really happened, when it's not. It's just him talking about, we teased the idea that maybe Zeus could be an ancient half Kryptonian. That explains why Diana is who she is today. Wow. Okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It's just kind of crazy how people was getting all crazy about that, and it was like, oh man, I'm so glad that he's gone. Why? Because the movies after he left did poorly. You see the Synder Con thing sold out within minutes. Now they're creating brand new Justice League statuettes for Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Joker, and Darkseid. And motherfuckers are getting sold. So apparently this lie that you guys keep talking about, that, oh, the DCEU suck, Snyder's version of the characters suck, it couldn't have sucked if people keep putting money into it. I mean, hell, for God's sakes, James Gunn announced that they're still doing that stupid Elseworld Black Superman movie. But you mean tell me we can't fucking finish up the plans that Snyder had for the Justice League? Or the fact that they said that, oh, the Justice League fighting Darkseid is a dead end? Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Like, y'all, people are lying to make it seem like people didn't enjoy those movies. But people enjoyed those movies, and they've been showing people several times over how much they enjoyed the Snyder movies. I don't care whether you're a Synder fanboy, or a DC comic book Marvel fan or whatever, but y'all gotta admit that there's something about that man who makes movies that are very charming that people actually like. And the people who claim that his movies suck or whatever, or that's not what these characters are, I don't know, because you can, if you really pay attention to DC, you can see where he's pulling these characters from. You get what I'm saying? Because at least I can tell where he's pulling them from different parts of the comic books. But with the MCU, early on, you can tell where they were pulling it from. But then nowadays, I don't know what the hell they're pulling this shit from. Because it ain't good. And now you think that you're going to reboot the DCEU, never finish out a story that this man was able to tell, barely was able to tell, and then think that people are supposed to put another 10 years into it. What if you do, let's say you tease a major villain, and then let's say Warner Brothers don't like what the hell going on with Gunn, and let's say Gunn stuff underperformed. So what? Then we're going to try to crawl back to Snyder, which he did say that if WB would want him to, he would do Justice League 2 and 3. Ben Affleck also said that he would do a Batman solo project if Warner Brothers wanted him to do it. So, I don't know. And it's just the same thing with, like, you had a script ready for Man of Steel 2, where we know that the main villain of Man of Steel 2 was going to be Brainiac, and it was going to introduce Kara Zor-El, the real Kara Zor-El. Not that bullshit from The Flash, but Kara Zor-El. The long forgotten Supergirl that was in the Man of Steel prequel comic book. So it would have been interesting to see those plans play out, but I just don't like how people are like trying to attack this man for actually trying to be very creative with the lore and tease the fact that there's more going on with this world, this universe, and trying to make it a little bit more serious than just some goofy superhero movie, because now people actually want the characters to be treated a little bit more serious instead of what the MCU's been doing. So, I mean, I have to respect him for trying to come up with something creative and trying to just do something new, whether people was ready for it or not. You know, that's something, but I'd rather him try his best at being creative with something than to not be creative at all. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of weird. Like, I just think that people should like calm down with the whole trying to attack him because of the fact that he decided he wanted to try to do something different with the myth of the DC characters. It's not like it really happened. It was just him speaking on it, and it just kind of blew up on the internet about, oh my God, see, we knew he was a terrible creative or whatever, stuff like that. Like, who has a terrible idea like that? Or just like how he had, you know, teased the fact that after Superman had died, Lois had went to Bruce in a moment of weakness. They kind of did it, and the baby that she was having in the Justice League movie really wasn't his. I mean, really wasn't Superman's. It was Bruce's or something like that. And apparently, once everything happened with the Nightmare thing, they was gonna raise the new baby to become the new Superman or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, those are some terrible ideas. But let's be honest, Marvel would have did worse with the characters. I mean, hell, they give some of these characters fake children, or fake relationships that never happened in the comic books before. So I don't understand why people think like, oh my God, because the New 52 did separate Superman and Lois before. So it's out of the ordinary that they would try to tease that Batman and Lois Lane can get together. Again, he's pulling from a what if comic book, a Elseworld comic book, where I think Superman does die and Bruce and Lois do get together, and stuff like that, because of the pain of losing Clark kind of brought them together. But let's be honest, it's still kind of dumb, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? But let's stop trying to hate on this man for a few of his bad ideas or things that he was just talking about, he was thinking about doing, but it never came to fruition. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like it's the end all be all. Just like, come on now, guys, calm down. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.